All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I'm your host and pilot, Uncle B. Today, we are in the Junkers 52 3M retrofit, leg 5 of our tour of America. The standard Junkers 52 is in the hangar for maintenance for a couple flights, so we will carry on with the retrofit. Should be a fairly short flight. I'm expecting that once we take off and head along the coast here to our only VORTAC, our only navigation point really that we need to worry about first. It's going to take about 43 minutes, and then we're going to head out towards the coast. Hopefully, if the weather is good to us, we might see, as we come in, we might see the USS Yorktown right here. Aircraft carrier, served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, was also part of the astronaut recovery once they splashed down kind of thing. So I've been there a couple times myself. Pretty cool place. If you ever get a chance to go to Charleston, I highly recommend getting over here to Patriots Point. There's a submarine here that is from the Cold War, and I think this is a destroyer. I never went on this ship, but I'd been on the Yorktown a couple times and only on the submarine once. I think the first time I visited, it was closed. They were doing renovations. So anyway, that's what we got for today. I'm waiting for things to kind of stabilize. It's the feed is, the bit rate's a bit off. Let me refresh here and see if we get a better feed now. Nope, it's still unstable. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll stabilize. Hopefully it will. Anyway, so let's wait to see if anybody's going to join us. I don't think I'm showing online. Nobody's on the list there. No, I did not change to... Oh, I am appearing online. Okay. I thought I was offline, but apparently not. Somehow that got changed. I know I went offline last night, but somehow things didn't quite work out. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting a little concerned that this is not stabilized. Usually after a short while, it goes green. So I don't know if there's a problem with Twitch or if there's a problem with my Xbox. I don't know. We'll try it, and if we have to restart, we'll do that. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Yeah, I don't think anybody's flying with me today, so, which is fine. It's completely fine. Here's the route. And here is the server, as always. Looks like a pretty quiet server. There's only one other person on here right now. Somewhere in the area. So, anyway. So we'll give it a few more minutes, see if anybody's going to join us, and if not, we'll populate in and get ready to skedaddle. So the other thing too, kind of talking about the flight. So we're going to turn out over the water, and then we're going to turn back in. We're going to have to come in really flat. Excuse me. We're going to have to try to set it down as quickly as possible and get it slowed down so we don't run out of room. I think we'll be okay. As long as we come in kind of flat and slow. So I think we should be okay. Doesn't seem like there's going to be much in the way of the runway here. So I think we'll be all right. But as long as we come in and set it down as quickly as we can and get the aircraft on the ground, all the wheels, so we can start tapping the brakes, we'll do that. So I didn't realize there was a localizer there. That's offset. Huh. That's all right. We can tune into that if we need to. If we're 110, 700. Okay. I think that. Yeah, it's for coming in on the other end. On runway 9 there. What is the offset? Does it say? Offset by almost 3 degrees. Okay. We'll keep that page open in case we need that information. I'm going to refresh it again. Let's see if this thing is... No. Well, we'll try to get the flight done. All right. I am going to go ahead and populate in on the runway so we can get going here. Get our aircraft set up. Right. It might be a quiet day today. I don't know. I never know when you guys are going to be chatting, when you're going to... All right, here we go. 279. About 47 minutes. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get our... I say it was 11350. Perfect. Come on. Okay, that's all there. That's all right. That's all set. Turn the taxi lights off. Keep the landing lights on for now. All right. Hello, Amela. How are you? Nice to see you here. We'll get ready to go here in just a second. Oh, I got to add. I think we'll have enough fuel, more than enough to get there, but now that's interesting. There's no way a passenger would weigh 328 pounds. No. I'm just gonna get the. I'm okay, thanks. Yeah. Um, I guess my flight in the let's make that one. In the Tomcat the other evening, other afternoon, did everybody in. They're like, oh, that was exciting enough. Now we don't. Now we can't be arsed. Okay, so 9, 10, 9. We need. That. So what's missing here? Let's just put a little bit more fuel in just to be on the safe side. I think we have more than enough to get. Oh, nice. How'd you like it? Catch up with all that in just a moment. May not get a this is forward tack. May not get a signal. Let me just make sure I got. Okay. There's that. I think we are all set otherwise. Nobody has said, wait for me, please. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not in a rush, but let me refresh this again. I think Twitch is having a little bit of a midlife crisis this morning. Oh, what else was I needed? Oh, my altimeters. Make sure those are all correct. Should be. All right, there we go. What else? Anything else? I think that's it. Got enough fuel. We got some weight in the back of the plane, so hopefully we get on the ground and get the tail on the ground so we can start slowing down. Had some issues in the beginning with the aircraft climbing. Most of those other planes in the game aren't like the standard A320. Yeah. I think when Captain Arish does his, he imports it directly from Is it Simbrief? I forget. I think he does. Or he'll plug it in himself in the little flight computer console thing there. I forget. It's been a while since I watched him fly it. I can't remember the last time he's flown it either. But, all right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get going. So let's... All right, clock running. Goes the tail. See if this does like the other one and just lifts off on its own. It's trying. It's thinking about it. Oh, and away we go. We are airborne. Look at that. Didn't even have to pull back on the stick. I like it. But yeah, it's a I think it's a fantastic plane. You know, there's a lot to learn on it. Um, that yeah, it'd be nice when one of the because it's not like the standard A320 that we have in the sim already. It's you do have to kind of know what you're doing. It's it's got its complications and whatnot. So, um, yeah. It's got its quirks, I should say. Not complications, it's got its quirks. Alright, and away we go. Oh, it's like a completely different aircraft. Um, the Burdock doesn't require you to know the systems and understand them, whereas the one that you have from PMDG, you there's a lot more that you're able to do. Um, I think. Um, so yeah, it's there's just a lot more going on there. I think in a good way, not in a bad way, but in a good way. There's you can do a lot more in the PMDG version, I think. And part of that too is your settings. If you have everything as realistic as possible, then I think you really have to be aware of what you're doing and when you're doing it. But I mean, it's a great looking plane, I think. I was impressed with it. The first time he took it out, I was like, wow, there's a lot to learn here. So all right, so we got our needles are pointing. It's a good sign. Morning, Mick. How are you, good sir? Nice to see you here. Quick check behind, make sure somebody didn't pop in and it's PMDG's got a good reputation in the sim community for making really outstanding aircraft. They're pricey, but they're pricey because it'll give you that experience. And that's what most simmers want, I think, is that experience. So yeah, but yeah, they are expensive, but they're worth the price from everything I've heard. But yeah, it looks amazing. There's a lot to learn. You can make it as easy as possible. You can put all the little it is tracking the distance. Nice. Okay. You can simplify it. You can turn off all the probably so. The big debate right now in the forum. Well, I wouldn't say debate. The discussion. There we go. The discussion in the forums right now is the state of things on the Xbox. The thing is, right? If every Xbox simmer went to PC, the marketplace they wouldn't make any money. Microsoft, right? Right now, this is a cash cow, whatever you want to call it, for Microsoft because we can't go anywhere else to buy aircraft. We can only purchase it through the in-sim marketplace. So if that marketplace dries up, if that money dries up, then that's going to hurt Microsoft in the long run. For better or worse, that's the truth of it. Most people on the PC side don't buy anything in the in-sim marketplace. They only get their updates, and that's it. Most everybody that I know goes to an outside source and buys aircraft or airports, whatever, from those from those sites. They won't wait for it to be released on the marketplace, on the in-sim marketplace. So would it be nice for the 737 and the DC-6 to come to the Xbox? Yes, absolutely. And hopefully it does, but I think, I don't know, I'm a bit wary of things. It's nice to hope that it'll happen, but there's no guarantees that it will happen. That's the drawback, unfortunately. But Sim Update 10 comes out today at 11 Eastern, 1500 Zulu, which is 1600 UK time. I'm going to download that as soon as it becomes available. I don't think it'll be right at 11 o'clock East Coast time. It'll probably be like 30 minutes after, because sometimes that's just how things go. But on average, we'll get the get that downloaded. I'll test some stuff as quickly as I can, and then we'll hopefully we'll be all set for tomorrow. But as I said the other day, and I'll reiterate it today, if for some reason things do not seem to be stable, we won't chance it. We're just gonna what's my favorite plane to own? I'll say this one, the Junkers 52, is certainly, I love it. When I was done flying the old KLM route, even though we finished it in the Junkers plane, I didn't want to give up flying this. It's fun to fly. It's got its what do you call it? Its own weird peculiarities, but it's fairly simple. It looks complicated, but it's not. And that's one of the things, I've talked about this with Captain Arash in his stream sometimes, because when I was learning the VOR to VOR flying, for instance, we tend to overcomplicate things. We overthink it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, now it all makes sense. And it's not complicated. We just make it complicated. So this plane looks complicated because it's got all these dials and switches and knobs and all this other stuff, but it's not that complicated. It's just that you don't have an autopilot system necessarily. Well, the other one does, but I've never used it. I wouldn't trust it. But it's not a hard plane to fly, just using my thumbstick. So I like this one. A close second, or almost tied for first, would be probably, well, the top three, all for first place, would be this plane, the Spitfire, and the Lightning. Oh, well, no, four, and the F-14. Those four planes, but those are the four that I love the most flying. But general aviation, I do like, well, okay, top five. But they all have their own, what do you call it? Their own strengths. And I would say the Cessna 414 would be the fifth plane. But I do, if I could do it all the time, and maybe eventually I'll do a flight across America in the F-14. I love it because it's a plane. I grew up building model kits of it. This was all before Top Gun was even an idea. Yeah, I'm flying this manually. I'm just making small adjustments. It's not that bad. It's not difficult. People, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, would I like to do a trip across America in the F-14? Yeah, I would like to do that, or somewhere else even. It doesn't have to necessarily be America. It could be all of Europe. It could be anywhere. But yeah, but there's different things. I know, like, a lot of people will fly one particular plane, and they will what do you call it? They'll master it, right? Just like in train sim, people will run a particular route constantly to master that route. They know every inch of the track, it seems, after a while. They know where all the speed signals are and all the, warnings and whatnot. They know when it's going to go uphill and when it's going to go downhill, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's more to train sim than just one particular route, right? So I mean, if you could buy one route, certainly you could do that. But then after a while, what are you going to do once you do all the services and all the scenarios and whatever, So what are you going to do then when all that's done? But yeah, those are the 5 planes. I do have a much closer, I wouldn't say tie, because it's not like I served in the Navy and worked on them. I would feel probably more of a tie if I had done that. But, yeah, if I... Okay, I'm getting away, of course. Let's see, we've been in the air for almost 16 minutes. How do I know where to go? What do you mean? You mean right now in this plane? So I have a vortac that's on the route. If you go route, so we're heading towards CHS, which is Charleston. That's the Air Force Base / airport right there. Okay, so I'm tuned in to that on here on 11350. That's the vortac frequency. So I use skyvector.com. You don't create an account because it's not meant for sim pilots. But if you don't have an account, or just use it for planning your flights, you put in your departure airport code, the 4-letter code, and your arrival 4-letter code, and then you take. So when I put a VOR to VOR flight, I get that CHS, right? So I plug that in, and it shows me going, this heading for this distance will take me to that vortac. And then all I have to do is once the receivers pick up that signal, it gives this we can look at this right here, that will say go that direction. Okay, turn and follow this heading right here, and it'll take you right to it, basically, or fairly close to it. So that's all. And then now normally we would hear the 3-letter beeping, right? That tells, so like, a navigator, if they're listening for that the Morse code, that would be CHS, the dots and the dashes, whatever you want to call them, or that's what they're called, dots and dashes, to make to say this is the letter, we're heading the correct direction. But we're not getting that. But we know we're heading roughly the right direction. And in this aircraft, we have this little doodad right here that says we have 53.6 nautical miles to our vortac. So all those together, plus if we have a stopwatch and we know, okay, roughly 47 minutes to get to the vortac, then we should know, or we should get there. But we also have a visual reference because we're going to be flying over an airport. So that's how we know that we're where we're supposed to be. So all those things together now, and then you also, if I was on a PC, I could validate all that information roughly and know where we are if I use celestial navigation as well. If I could plot the location of the sun, and I think in relation to us, and then the moon. So we have 2 points that we could shoot an azimuth to. And it's very similar. When I was in the Army, we had if you didn't know where you were, if you could find 2 points on a map, even 3, and you shoot an azimuth, you have your magnetic azimuth, which is from your compass, and then you convert that to your grid azimuth, right? And then you draw a line on that grid azimuth from the point that you shot, and where everything intersects. If you have only 2 points, so like say you have 2 mountaintops, where those lines intersect is roughly your location. So it's no different than celestial navigating. It's just a different way of doing it, I think. But that's, those are the ways that you can know where you are. Or you can just train associate. If I have a chart of this area in front of me, or the navigator would have the chart, and they could say, yep, I see this river, I see this little island, I see the city area here. Yep, I know exactly where we're supposed to be, or this is how much farther we have to go along here until we get to our navigation point. So we are doing well. We've been in the air for so long, and we've covered this much distance. So that there, you can use all kinds of different things to help you know where you are and how much farther you have to go. It just depends on, I think, how in depth you want to get, and that's one of the things about on the PC side. You can do celestial navigating. You can learn. You can do just. It's of course it's on a computer, but you have a form that you plug in all your information, and it will give you the numbers. It'll do the formulas or whatever, as long as your numbers are correct or as close to correct as possible. Because if you get those wrong, if you're off even by a little bit, you can end up going way off one way or the other, left or right of your destination. If you think about Apollo 13, and they were heading back to Earth, right? They did a slingshot around the moon, and they were heading back to Earth, and they were trying to calculate their trajectory to make it so they wouldn't skip off the atmosphere and totally be screwed. So if you remember Tom Hanks, everybody's got their slide rule calculator out, and they're checking all the numbers, because as Jim Lovell said, if any mistake is made, that's it. They're not getting home. So but that's how the navigating was done. You checked your math, made sure you had all your numbers correct, because if you didn't, you were going to miss your destination. You may run out of fuel, or in the case of Apollo 13, they were going to run out of oxygen, and that was going to be the end of that. So it's all stuff that it's practical applications, I guess, if I want to get all scientific about it. Oh, no worries. And again, a lot of this I learned just from watching Captain Arish's stream. And if you aren't sure, like I was totally confused about the whole VOR to VOR thing at first. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. But the great thing is with him is he'll try to find a way to explain it so that you will understand the concepts. He won't just try to give you an answer and say, well, if you don't get it, sorry. I had I had tuna and crackers last night for dinner. I didn't have much of an appetite, but I'm fine. I don't want anybody to think anything bad. My appetite comes and goes. A lot of it based because I do take Wellbutrin for my depression and anxiety, and that does impact my appetite sometimes. Sometimes I'm like really hungry, and other times I just eat something light like tuna and crackers, and I'm fine. So yeah, that's what I had for dinner last night. But yeah, that's the great thing is that in all the streams that I've watched him, if somebody comes in and says, I don't understand this concept, can you explain it? He'll find a way to explain it so that you understand it. But he won't leave you feel, like he won't just give you a stock answer and if you don't understand it, that's your problem, not his. He'll try to help you understand the concepts and the what it is that you're doing or what he's doing, so once I learn and I'm like, okay, if I do this, and it was like, oh, this is super simple. It's just a different form of flying, that's all. You just follow the needle. Not so much the cheese and crackers are nice with pickle. Never thought about it. Well, I'm not a big fan of pickles, but I've never really thought about cheese and crackers with the pickle. I guess that would. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I highly recommend if you want to expand your knowledge about flying, I highly, highly recommend flying with him, or just not even know so much flying, but just watch his streams for a couple times, and then if you want to jump in, he'll fly with, fly the same plane as him, do all the same stuff that he does, and just do that. I mean, that's the best way to do it, I think. But yeah, he's got way more knowledge than I do. That's for sure. I just try to explain it as best as I can understand it. Let's put that mixture just a tad. We've got enough fuel to get there for sure. Also get back on the props just a bit. But yeah, it's just all, and it's no different than when I learned how to do land navigation in the Army. They give you a map and a compass and a protractor, and they'll say, find these points and give me a grid coordinate. Tell me what the grid is. 4-digit grid, 6-digit grid, 8-digit grid. Now navigate from this point to this point. I still remember when I went to a leadership school, part of it was the only individual event the entire time we were there. Everything else was team based, but we had to do a land navigation course. You had 4 points. In order to pass, you had to find 3 of the 4 points, and I was one of the only handful of people that found all 4 points. The first one, I was a bit nervous. I found it, and then once I looked at the map, I looked at the lay of the land, and I'm like, oh, well, if I go this direction over here, that should be that point. I just trained associated the rest of the time. I didn't even bother pulling out my compass. I just walked and said, oh, yep, I'm here. Let me look around. Yep, I can see this. This is here. Yep, I'm at the correct point. Wrote down the little number on the dog tag, moved on to the next one. But now we have all these computer systems and GPS and everything. And part of it is so they know where you are on the battlefield, for instance, right? So that lessens the chance of friendly fire. They're like, oh, wait a minute, all these forces here are all, those are all our folks. Don't shoot there, shoot over the other way, you know. So, but that's good. But what happens if all those systems fail? How are you going to navigate? People become too reliant on it. You know, I still think, and I might be wrong, but I think they still, most pilots, I think, still carry paper charts with them when they fly. I don't know if it's an FAA requirement or it's just like, well, if the systems fail, I need to be able to navigate. If I don't have any chart, how am I going to navigate? You know, you can. What if your radios are dead? You can't call the nearest airport and say, hey, I'm in trouble. All my avionics have failed. Or all my navigation systems have failed. I need directions. You know, what if your radios are out too? What are you going to do? So if you have a paper chart, at least you know where you are and you know which way to turn roughly to get to an airport. And then you can sort out the communication issue along the way if you have one. Because at least, I think most airports, unless there's no tower, there's a number you can call, and if you have a cell phone with you, if that's working at least, maybe you can use that. But anyway. We're losing altitude here. I don't want to lose too much altitude. I'm pretty quiet on the server today. Yeah, if you want to know more about celestial navigating, I mean, there's quite a few books out there on it, on the subject. Some of it's related to naval navigating, because that's how the sailors navigated a long time ago. Or you have some of it's related to flying. But that's the other reason why I want to get on the PC, is because you have access to more of those things. You know, on the Xbox, unless something dramatically changes, we won't have the ability to do something like that. Ooh. All right. All right, so if we're there, okay, we're about 26 nautical miles. All right. Kind of zigzagging, it seems like. Turn one way and then it's fine for a little bit, and then turn the other way, and then it's like it goes. All right, take care, Milla. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. So, Mick, you're on Minecraft tonight. Looking forward to that. almost there. And then we're going to turn. Yeah, nice. I'm looking forward to that. Now will Builder Addy show up and have more added to his list? A project that he wants you and Pulse to get working on. You know, the great thing about that is, I mean, you can come up with all kinds of ideas, but it's not, you know, like you said, you got to farm for materials, basically. You know, you have to convert some materials into other materials so you can build. It's not like you just pick up blocks and stack them on one another and you know. So I do think that's an interesting concept, that it's not like you just have a set of Legos and you can build an airport with Legos. You have to go out and find all the materials that you're going to need to construct like an airport or a racetrack or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you could come up with all kinds of ideas. But the thing is, are you going to spend the time finding all the materials to make that idea a reality? You know, I think that's the challenging part. Alright, so we've been on this flight, so far we've been there for 36 minutes, almost 37 minutes. So I think we are going to be a little bit past the 47-minute mark. Be my guess, because the wind has been a bit weird today. I do believe we've got enough fuel to get us there. Because once we get to our navigation point up here, 20-something nautical miles, probably less than 20 nautical miles, we're going to turn, quick run to 18 nautical mile, and then we'll turn again, and we'll line up, and we'll put it on the ground. So, but we're going to try to come in a little bit low and a little bit flat as much as possible. Try to be as slow as possible so that as soon as the wheels touch the ground, the back end settles down. Hello, Jody. How are you? And then we'll get the speed down and we'll get the aircraft off the runway and park it and call it a day. Back tomorrow. Either it's going to be leg 3 of our flight along Route 66. I think this is the last leg where we're basically traveling to the main, I think. I could be wrong. But I think we're almost at the point where we'll be following the actual highway or the actual route. Whereas right now we're in all these urban areas and Route 66 changed. There is a mine that does the digging for us, which feeds it to the storage area, and if we need a part, we make it... Oh! Yeah, I'm fine, Jody, thank you. I didn't know that, man. Interesting. Huh. So why, even though you're logged... Now, that still happens even if you're not logged into the game? The digging will still take place and all that stuff will be stored until you populate in, or do you have to go in and sit there basically and let it do its thing and then... Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. So that frees you guys up to do other things instead of digging. That's cool. Because that would be like you said, that would be the laborious part, or the boring part is okay, we're going to go over here and we're going to dig for 3 or 4 hours. And you know, what happens if you only get one item that you out of the 30 that you might need or whatever? Well, that's cool. I think what I'm going to do, since we seem to be pretty stable for right now, although the wind is kind of bumping us around left and right, can't make up its mind. When it finishes digging an area, we move it to... Oh, okay. Nice. All right, I am going to step away for just a hot second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see, we're just a little bit off course here. Right, 12 nautical miles. Almost there. And then we'll start descending. I think I said we need to be at 2,100 feet by the time we get to that fixed point. Yeah, I think we're going to be a little bit past 47 minutes to our nav point. Because the weather, even though I only have a few clouds, the wind has been a bit weird today. So that's all right. But anyway, so yeah, tomorrow it's either going to be next leg or we're going to be on. I thought about Cajon Pass, but we'll do a run on Peninsula Corridor if flying is not going to be possible tomorrow. Do a trip in the Baby Bullet from San Francisco to San Jose. We'll do a limited stop service, and we'll wrap things up. Take a run on the home route. It's our backup plan if things turn into a hot mess here with the update coming out later today. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's everything I've read. Everybody says this is some good stuff. So hopefully that is the case. A lot of people put a lot of time. PC and Xbox simmers both did what they could to identify issues and let Sobo/Microsoft know what those issues were, and it sounds like they got a lot of stuff fixed. So hopefully this is a outstanding sim update. We can finally move forward, and we can start looking forward to sim update 11. We can look forward to the next world update, which is going to be Canada. And we know what the 40th anniversary stuff will be out. And it's almost there. I do highly recommend if you ever can, go to Charleston. It is an absolutely amazing place to visit. They have different horse-drawn carriage tours. You never know, and you just, I guess, you can pick a color, or I think it was like a different colored carriage. They go to different parts of Charleston. So you never know which way you're going to go and what you're going to see. But all the tour guides are, I didn't know this, but they have to pass a test to be tour guides. They have to know, they have to learn all this history and stuff, and then they can be tour guides. And I think it's the same in Savannah. They have to go through like a rigorous test, so that, you know, if they're going to be showing people around, that they actually know what they're talking about. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Charleston, it's an amazing place. Lots of restaurants and boutique stores, and a lot of artists, a lot of artistry, a lot of little galleries, people selling their paintings and stuff like that. It's very artsy. I think some artists even teach courses there at their galleries for painting. Some, I think, teach like acrylic painting, oil paints. How to do paint with oil paints. I would think there's even like pottery classes too. If that's your thing. All right, there's our airport that we're going to fly over here in just a second. Then we're going to turn on a heading of 135. Yep, 135. Almost was going to say we're going to turn the wrong way. Somebody just take note. All right, so our vortac is right. It should be right there, I think. We'll go ahead and we're almost right on top of it, actually. It says it might be before that. I know it's, oh, maybe that's it right there. I know it's like right around here somewhere. Oh, it could be that. I don't know. There's a couple different things that stand out that could be it. All right. What did I say? It was 135. Okay. Let's head over that way. Hopefully we're going to see Patriots Point here coming up. The USS Yorktown Aircraft Carrier Museum. Planes from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, even Cold War aircraft. Post-Vietnam stuff. We do have a Tomcat there. I think it's still there. They do have a pretty busy flight deck. They have all kinds of aircraft, and they probably have added some since I was last there. I'd like to go to Charleston again sometime and check it out. They do have I think they have a replica of the Apollo capsule, because they did recover the capsule for Apollo 8 when they were testing all the stuff in preparation for heading to the moon. You can visit the what do you call it, the bridge, and see what they looked at. There, you can visit the ready room where the pilots would sit and get their briefings before they headed out for their flights. You can actually sit in they still have the chairs there, in the ready room. Some kind of a local idea. Well, that's probably for, yep, for Charleston, the Air Force Base / airport there behind us. Been around the outskirts of the base there. I don't think I've ever been. I know my friend from Vegas and we drove up there. I don't remember if we went on base or not. Alright, let's go ahead and call in for. We should be close enough. Yep, there it is. And on 27. It's not towered. Aha. Well, there we go. We're not going to fly the pattern there. We're just going to. Alright, so we definitely need to bleed off a lot of altitude here. We're still pretty high. We should be a lot lower than we are. Go ahead and drop some flaps so we start slowing down as well. Definitely have to get. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn away from the airport a little bit more until we get some more altitude bled off. All right, there we go. Alright folks, you know the drill. I'm going to keep my eyes on the impending doom. We'll catch up once we're on the ground. quite fly the entire, get to that point, but pay attention. I think we were past the 47-minute mark. We turned a little too early here. That's okay. I didn't even look for Patriots Point. Would have been back, I think, right there. Yeah, I think that's where it was. Sorry, I didn't get, wasn't really paying attention since we were trying to stay on course here and find our airport. So I'm going to try to come in. Try to be kind of low, but not too low. We don't want to crash, obviously. Alright, almost there, folks, almost there. Oop, little bump, little bump, little bump. Not too bad. There we go. That worked out just almost as close to plan as possible. I like it. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, would like to welcome you to Charleston Executive Airport. Local time is 8:29 in the morning. We understand it's Wednesday and everybody's working for the weekend. So we do appreciate those of you who were able to show up and hang out. Greatly appreciate your patronage. We'll be back tomorrow, possibly, in the Cessna 172, the next leg of our flight along Route 66. If not, we will be on the Peninsula Corridor, Train Sim World 3, taking a run in the Baby Bullet, heading from San Francisco to San Jose, limited stop service. It's going to be one of the two. Shall not be both. So do join us tomorrow, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK. We're just going to go ahead and find a place to park it. Since we don't have a tower here, we will let them know that we are off the runway. Having that weight in the back certainly, I think, helped get the tail on the ground fairly quickly. But we also came in, I think I executed that just about almost flawlessly. We did have a little bit of a bump, so I won't say it was completely flawless. But, yeah, pretty pleased overall. Excuse me. It looks like possibly, I don't know, is that the fuel stand over there, or is that somebody waiting for us? I think that's the fuel stand. I think I see a ground crew back here. We'll head back here. Maybe that was a ground crew back there, because this looks like a fuel stand over here. That's alright, we'll find a parking spot back here. Apologize about that, folks. Joys of living near a street that goes right to the local hospital. Alright, there's that. Go ahead and turn our lights off. Alright, there's all that, and our battery, 1, 2. Alright. Just over an hour, look at that, not too shabby. Let's go ahead and update. I did refilled out the stuff for. Oh, I didn't get a picture. Doggone it. Oh, let's go back to the. Let's continue here. We'll get a picture this way. Almost forgot. Almost forgot. Really wish somebody would make some liveries for this aircraft. That's interesting. All right. Well, that will do it for today, folks. Greatly appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's flight. I will see you all tomorrow, either in the Cessna 172 or in the on Train Sim World 3, one or the other. Thank you, Mick. So hopefully I will know. We got a couple hours before the release of Sim Update 10, so hopefully it all goes well. Fingers crossed. And then we will I'll test out some stuff, and then hopefully we will be flying tomorrow. And hopefully it'll be a lovely flight. I will post the our departure airport and our arrival airport here in a little while on the Discord. If you want to follow along or fly along, you're more than welcome to. Do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until tomorrow, peace, live long and prosper.